Hey, this is Alan Moore, Certified Financial Planner and founder of Serenity Financial Consulting. Thanks for joining me. So student loan debt is at an all-time high. 2/3 of students graduating with a four-year degree have student loan debt. The average is around $24,000, with 10% of students having over $40,000 in student loan debt. And that's only for four-year degrees. The statistics for six-year, for your master's and doctoral programs are even higher. So with student loan debt at this all-time high, it really puts a squeeze on young workers when they're trying to balance paying down that debt and other financial obligations that people like myself are pushing on them, such as saving for retirement, building an emergency fund. So the question is, how do you balance all of these goals with a finite amount of money? There may not be enough to match all of the goals. So how do you find that balance? The first step is always start tracking your spending. If you frequent this blog, then you'll know that I am passionate about the needs and benefits of tracking your spending. So without knowing how much you have each month to put towards debt or savings, it's really difficult to formulate a plan because you don't know how much you have. So you've got to start tracking your spending, figure out how much you have to put towards debt or these other goals. The second step is always pay the minimum balance on your student loans, at least the minimum payments, okay? You do not want to get behind on your student loan debt. Student loan debt is incredibly difficult to get rid of without paying it off. It is very rare that you're able to get out from under it. It doesn't even go away in bankruptcy in most cases. And by making late payments, you end up risking the ability, you risk losing the ability to restructure your payments in the event of things such as a disability, job loss, and those types of things. So always be sure you make on-time monthly payments to your student loans for at least the minimum balance. Okay, so now you're making minimum payments. The next step is to have an emergency fund. I cannot stress to you the importance of having an emergency fund in place. You want to have 3 to 6 months of living expenses sitting there available in the event of an emergency. Don't worry about saving for retirement or any of these other things until you have an emergency fund in place. The next step is to take a look at your 401k and see if there's an employer match. If there is, take full advantage of it. Okay, if the employer is offering to match your first 3%, that you contribute, great. Put in at least 3%. If they're offering to contribute, match up to 8%, put in 8%. Take full advantage of that. That is free money that you can never get back. So you definitely want to take advantage of that immediately. The next step is to set your financial goals. Okay, some of us are more comfortable with debt than others. If debt keeps you up at night thinking about that it needs to be paid off, then that's different than if you're comfortable carrying some debt. So you need to set your financial goals based on your own kind of risk tolerance to having debt. What you want to do is know where you want to get to. So set a time frame and say, okay, I want to be out of debt in 3 years, 5 years, whatever that date is. And then you can back into it and say, okay, well, I need to be contributing $500 a month or $1,000 a month to my student loans in order to get them paid off in the time frame that I want. Okay, you want to have those goals in place so that you know whether or not you're meeting your expectations. The final step is to check the interest rates on your student loans. Okay, current interest rates are at 6.8% for student loans, which is pretty high historically. Those issued prior to 2006 are under, some of them are under 3%. So you want to see where your interest rates are. Paying off a 6.8% interest rate loan is equivalent to earning 6.8% guaranteed in the market. Now, you can't find 6.8% guaranteed in the market anywhere today. So you want to balance that the higher your interest rates are on your student loan debt, the faster you want to pay them down, because basically you're losing money to that interest every year. You have to find the plan that you're comfortable with. The same plan is not going to work for everybody. That's why I can't say you must pay down your student loans or you must save for retirement. Everyone has their own path that they have to find. But what I can tell you is that in an ideal world, you'd be paying down your student loans so that they would be paid off in whatever your goal time frame is. Let's say 3, 4, 5 years, that those student loans are going to be gone in that time frame. You have a fully funded emergency fund, and you're saving 10 to 15% of your income towards long-term goals, probably using your 401k or a Roth IRA. That's ideal. if you aren't there yet, or you're just not able to commit the funding that it's going to take to get there, then always be sure you're paying the minimum towards your student loans. Be sure you are funding that emergency fund and that you're taking advantage of the employer match with your 401k. Then see what's left over based on your interest rates and that type of thing. You can then direct that leftover funding towards either student loan payoff, 401k savings, or maybe even both. So what do you think? Is this a question that you've been asking yourself? Do you have your student loan debt and your 401k and you don't know which one to save to? Is there anything else that you'd like to add to this list? Definitely feel free to share in the comments section. That's all I have for today. Thanks so much for joining me.